In the ruins of a devastated city, a young man stands alone, gazing into the distance. A demon behind him, urging him to live life on his own terms. Fast forward to the present, and this man, now cloaked in a hood, marches toward a towering castle belonging to the Demon Queen. As he enters the grand throne room, he faces none other than Queen Echidna and her elite 4 generals. With a bold smile, the man reveals himself as Leo Demonheart, the world's strongest hero, the very one who single-handedly defeated the entire demon army, along with Echidna and her elite 4. Leo announces that he's come for an interview to join the demon army. He proudly presents his resume and boasts of his accomplishments as hero who defeated them, certain that he's nailed the interview. However, Queen Echidna flatly refuses his application and hurls a fire spell at him in disgust. Despite being rejected, Leo persists, explaining his plans to strengthen the demon army. Each time, he's met with violent rejections, and eventually, Echidna throws him out of the room. The story then flashes back to the time when the demon army invaded the kingdom. The king assembled a party of heroes to combat the threat, including Leo. However, Leo, being too powerful, quickly found his companions to be entirely useless. A mage who refused to learn anything beyond healing spells, a soldier clueless about magic, and an archer terrified of close combat. Frustrated by their incompetence, Leo went off alone, effortlessly defeating the entire demon army, including the Demon Queen herself. Returning to the present, Elite 4 is intrigued by Leo's persistence and agrees to hear him out. Leo recounts how he defeated each of the Elite 4 generals. First was Dragon General Edvard, a formidable swordsman whose attacks were predictable, making it easy for Leo to counter with magic. Next was the Shadowless General Merns, a deadly assassin whose speed was no match for Leo's overwhelming magic, blowing him away with a single spell. The third was Beast General Lily, who had amnesia when she first met Leo. After spending a few days with him, she regained her memory, but Leo knocked her out in battle. By the customs of her beast species, Lily now considers Leo her future husband. Finally, Sorcerer General Shutina, skilled in magic, was neutralized when Leo nullified her spells and challenged her to physical combat, where she was helpless and quickly defeated. When Shutina asks Leo why he wants to join them, he reveals the truth. After defeating them, he fought with Echidna, who was a tough opponent, but he defeated her. Leo returned to the kingdom, expecting to be celebrated as a hero. Instead, he was met with fear. Rumors spread that Leo, with his immense power, was planning to become the next demon king. The king, forced by terrified citizens, reluctantly exiled Leo. Disillusioned with humanity, Leo wandered aimlessly until he heard that Echidna was recruiting soldiers to rebuild her defeated army. Seeing a new purpose, he decided to join her. Moved by his story, the Elite 4 decide to hire Leo, but under strict conditions. He will work under Shutina's supervision, handling the rebuilding of the demon army without Echidna's knowledge. If he produces results, they will try to convince Echidna to officially hire him. If he fails, they will throw him out for good. As Leo takes on this new role, he secretly hopes to one day speak to Echidna and discover why, in the midst of war, she forbade her soldiers from killing humans unnecessarily. The next day, Leo wakes up early, brimming with energy and mischief. He heads straight to Shutina's room to wake her up. When she refuses to rise from bed, Leo, in a playful mood, changes his voice to mimic Queen Echidna. Startled, Shutina bolts upright, immediately beginning to give her morning report, only to realize that it was Leo playing a trick on her. Furious, she punishes him for his prank. Leo starts to understand the deeper issues plaguing the demon army. Most of the army's problems stem from its leaders retreating to the demon world to recover from injuries Leo inflicted on them during the war. This has left Shutina, the only one capable of running the army, overworked and exhausted. While reviewing her schedule, Leo notices an overwhelming list of tasks awaiting her. Determined to help, he decides to take over one of her more complex duties, replenishing the mana reactor that powers the castle's magical items. This is typically a task that only Shutina can handle due to the unique wavelength of her magic. Leo, ever the charmer, teasingly demands a kiss as a reward if he manages to succeed. He disguises himself with black armor and leaves the room. Along the way, he sees the young servant woman who runs away after seeing him. Leo completes the task within 30 minutes and returns to report to Shutina. When she asks him to move on to the next job, Leo casually says he needs to rest and replenish his energy. Using a spell, he continues observing her work from afar while lounging. After an hour, Echidna asked him to work, but he didn't go anywhere and continued resting. More hours pass and Echidna grows increasingly irritated by Leo's prolonged break. Finally, fed up, she threatens to fire him. At that moment, Dianette, the same servant who had fled earlier, reappears, announcing that the reactors have been replenished, shocking Echidna. Leo explains that after leaving her earlier, he visited the goblin craftsman and created a talisman tuned to Echidna's magical wavelength. With this talisman, anyone with mana can now recharge the reactors, freeing Echidna from the task entirely. Echidna, initially surprised, realizes that the servants, including Dianette, are all concerned for her well-being and are eager to help. After Dianette leaves, Leo calmly reveals that he had been observing her work the entire time, analyzing her tasks and creating a plan to help her. He points out several tasks that could easily be delegated to others, helping reduce her workload. Reluctantly, Echidna admits that Leo has indeed solved one of her long-standing problems. Leo returns to work but first tries to claim his promised kiss. Embarrassed and flustered, Echidna swiftly sends him away. Later that night, Echidna calls Leo in for a private meeting. She entrusts him with another task, overseeing Lily, the beast general, who is in charge of logistics and supplies. With food and equipment stores running low, it's crucial that the next shipment arrives safely. Leo quickly becomes concerned when he reviews Lily's guard mission proposal, which simply instructs everyone to have fun together. The next day, Leo, along with Lily and a group of demon soldiers, arrives at the Largo Sea for the supply mission. To Leo's dismay, Lily is happily playing around on the beach, showing little concern for the task at hand, much to his frustration. The night before, Echidna had explained the importance of their visit to the sea. The dragon folk, who reside in the Largo Sea, are crucial to the demon army's survival. They provide food and resources, which is why the army is still operational in the human world. Echidna also shared the history behind this alliance. After the previous demon king invaded the human world and was defeated, the remnants of demons and humans made peace and agreed to coexist. However, humans began hunting dragons for their body parts and enslaving them. This caused the dragons to develop a deep grudge against humans, isolating themselves on their island in the Largo Sea. When Queen Echidna launched her invasion, the dragon folk offered their assistance to the demon army, choosing to support the demons against their common enemy. Considering the importance of the dragon folk's aid for the demon army's future, the task of securing the supply lines is critical. However, Lily's childish behavior and lack of organization leave Leo frustrated. A supply mission that should take a day drags on for over a week. Despite his efforts to introduce some order, no one is listening to him. Realizing that Lily is eager to help but hindered by her immaturity, Leo comes up with a clever plan. That night, he fakes a snake bite, and Lily, worried about him, immediately panics. He tells her that if she wants to save him, she needs to find special healing herbs that only grow in the nearby mountains. Leo hopes that by sending her on a mission requiring organization and problem-solving, she will develop a more mature mindset. Unfortunately, things don't go as planned. Lily, desperate to find the herbs, transforms into her powerful guardian form, Fenrir. With her immense strength, she bypasses all the obstacles Leo had set for her, completely spoiling his plan. Determined to help her grow, Leo, disguised as a mysterious figure, attempts to give her logistical hints. Lily gratefully takes his advice, but despite his efforts, she manages to gather the herbs using sheer force instead of following any strategic approach. The next morning, Leo wakes up feeling defeated, thinking he'll need to change his strategy entirely. However, to his surprise, Lily has actually learned from the experience. She's taken the hints he gave and shows clear improvement in how she handles tasks. Leo realizes he has underestimated her intelligence and ability to adapt when given direct guidance. Back at the demon castle, Echidna is pleased with Lily's progress and grateful that Leo's intervention has helped her develop. However, Leo's relief is short-lived. Echidna informs him that Echidna has demanded an immediate meeting with the Black Knight. Panicked, Leo fears that Echidna may have discovered his true identity as Leo Demonheart. Echidna, however, reassures him, revealing that the reason for the meeting is likely due to the reports of his achievements that she submitted to Echidna. Leo, feeling increasingly nervous. Because Echidna is powerful and wise, she can easily find who he is. To his surprise, instead of a stern meeting, she has prepared an elaborate dinner to reward his recent successes as the Black Knight Onyx. Leo, wanting to end the dinner as quickly as possible to avoid detection, reluctantly joins her. As they sit for dinner, Echidna forces him to remove his helmet, leaving Leo no choice but to alter his face with magic, hiding half of it to maintain his disguise. Desperate to cut the evening short, Leo comes up with a plan. He attempts to get Echidna drunk, hoping she'll end the dinner sooner. However, his plan fails spectacularly, as Echidna turns out to be a heavy drinker, handling her alcohol far better than Leo expected. The dinner party drags on, much to his dismay. During the conversation, Echidna grows curious and asks why he always wears his helmet and never shows his face. Thinking on his feet, Leo fabricates a story about being cursed, claiming that he can only remove the helmet for a limited time. He hopes this will make her drop the subject. Instead, Echidna, intrigued, insists that he continue the dinner without the helmet, leaving Leo trapped in his lie. Hoping to divert her attention, Leo asks why she refused to hire the legendary hero Leo into her army. Echidna angrily reveals that Leo had unwittingly thwarted her mission, capturing the Philosopher's Stone from Renail's city. Leo had not known Echidna wanted the stone. She explains how the stone, believed to hold incredible power, could have turned the tide in the war for the demons. Leo listens intently as Echidna continues ranting, and he narrates that the Philosopher's Stone is a powerful device that was discovered 3,000 years ago, and with its power capital city was built. It has the power to turn a wasteland into Greenland, but he knows its powers are greatly exaggerated through rumors. Back at the dinner, Leo, still curious about Echidna's motivations, asks her why she wants the Philosopher's Stone. Echidna takes Leo to the balcony, where she explains that the demon realm is a harsh, polluted wasteland. The demons constantly fight over limited resources, and she believes that with the Philosopher's Stone, she could make the land fertile again and bring peace to her people. She admits that while she had to invade humanity to obtain the stone, she did so because humans would never willingly hand over such a precious relic. Echidna tells that she hates Leo as he foiled her plans for peace. Despite this, she admits that she respects him for doing his duty to protect humanity, as from their perspective, the demons were invaders. However, she wishes to continue her campaign for the sake of her people, though she desires to avoid unnecessary killing. As the two speak, Leo feels a growing desire to help her. Just as Leo is about to answer Echidna's question about why he joined the demon army, they are interrupted by Shutina and Lily. They inform Echidna, Mearns, and Edward that they have abandoned their posts and embarked on a mysterious journey. Worse yet, Edward, consumed by guilt for losing the war, is planning to take his own life to atone for his failure. Everyone is shocked by the sudden news of Mearns and Edward's disappearance. Queen Echidna decides to personally speak to Edward, while Leo volunteers to track down Mearns. Using his abilities, Leo eventually finds Mearns sitting by a riverside, gazing into the water. Leo tries to convince him to return to the demon army, but Mearns refuses, still planning to leave for good. When persuasion fails, Leo binds Mearns with a magic chain to prevent him from escaping. Mearns finally admits the truth. He confesses that he is terrified of the upcoming army interviews, set to begin in 3 days. Mearns is terrible at conversation, and all of his previous administrative work had been handled by his subordinates. But with most of the demons having returned to the demon world to recover, the burden now falls on him alone. He feels completely overwhelmed and doesn't know who to turn to, as everyone else is too busy with their own tasks. Seeing Mearns so lost, Leo tries to encourage him. Mearns, in turn, demands that Leo teach him how to speak to others properly. Reluctantly, Leo agrees to help. With Mearns, Leo returned to the castle. Echidna is not surprised he was under so much stress, given that Mearns was a supporter of totally eliminating humans, and now has to work with them. When Leo asks about Edward, Echidna reveals that Edward truly did try to kill himself. However, his impenetrable dragon skin saved him from each attempt. Now, his daughter Julieta is watching him closely to prevent further incidents. Leo promises to help Edward once he finishes training Mearns. The next day, Leo begins his unconventional training for Mearns. He forces Mearns to pose as a waitress in the soldiers' food hall, making him interact with all sorts of people. This infuriates Mearns, who becomes frustrated by the seemingly pointless exercise. He demands to know why Leo is making him serve people instead of teaching him any actual lessons. Mearns also asks Leo if, as a hero, he should know some secret technique for talking to others, something that he could pass on to him. Leo, however, surprises Mearns by revealing that he himself was awful at socializing when he first started his training to become a hero. Like Mearns, he had to learn through practice and experience, not by any secret technique. Later, Mearns practices his conversation skills on a group of rowdy werewolf mercenaries who were recently hired but have yet to learn proper discipline. Typically, Edward would have trained them, but in his absence, they'd become rude and inappropriate. When they start acting lecherous, Mearns is forced to discipline them, almost revealing his true identity in the process. Nevertheless, Mearns learns the basics of conversation. Feeling that Mearns is ready for the final lesson, Leo invites him to his room for a mock interview. During the practice, Mearns becomes more comfortable with the flow of conversation. However, in the middle of the interview, Mearns suddenly asks a pointed question: why did Leo really join their army, especially since his supposed hatred for humanity has always seemed like a lie? Mearns' question catches Leo off guard. He never expected Mearns to ask such a direct and insightful question. At first, Leo tries to evade the topic, but Mearns persists. Mearns reasons that if Leo truly wanted to destroy humanity, he could have easily done it by himself without anyone's help. However, it's clear that Leo doesn't hate humans. Mearns then begins to open up, revealing the truth about his own deep-seated resentment towards humanity. He explains that he always hated humans because he is half demon, half human. As a child, he was sold into slavery, and passed from one cruel master to another, until eventually, he was purchased by an assassin's guild. There, he was trained as a deadly assassin. His hatred for humanity only grew with each passing day, and he dreamed of taking revenge. When the demon army, led by Echidna, began to invade human cities, Mearns secretly aided them in their conquest, seeing it as an opportunity for his revenge. Eager to destroy humans, Mearns volunteered to join Echidna's army. However, he quickly became disillusioned when he saw that Echidna spared more humans than she killed. There was even a moment where Mearns considered assassinating Echidna and taking over the demon army himself, but in the end, he resigned himself to being a general. His turning point came when he was defeated by Leo. Leo had told him then to experience the world, not as an assassin, but for fun, which left a lasting impact on Mearns. After hearing Mearns' story, Leo decides to reveal his biggest secret. He begins by telling Mearns that he is much older than anyone realizes. Leo explains that he was not born in the current era but in modern-day Tokyo, at a time before magic existed. The world he was born into was peaceful, where people lived ordinary lives without war, conflict, or magic, until demons invaded the demon world. These demons wreaked havoc, and humanity, ill-prepared, struggled to fight back. Their weapons were useless against the demon threat. In a desperate attempt to survive, human scientists came together and created 12 living weapons called Demon Hearts, of which Leo was one. While the other Demon Hearts perished in battle, Leo was designed to be more durable. His resilience allowed him to survive while still retaining the appearance of a young man, even after the modern world collapsed, and society evolved into what it is today. For centuries, whenever humanity was in danger, Leo always stood as their protector, fulfilling his duty as a hero. Yet over time, this eternal cycle of war, protection, and rejection began to wear on him. Leo admits that he grew tired of being unable to die. When humanity finally rejected him and cast him out, Leo felt a strange sense of joy. He realized he could finally do what he wanted, rather than what was expected of him. And joining the demon army seemed like the most exciting and unpredictable thing to do, so that's what he did. He admits that since meeting Echidna and her generals, he has grown to like them. Despite their past conflicts, Leo genuinely wants to help them, especially with their goal of acquiring the Philosopher's Stone. As Leo finishes, Mearns is left reeling, struggling to process everything he has just heard. But before leaving, Leo reassures Mearns, and also points out that Mearns is already a good communicator because he knows how to listen and his responses are always honest, so he will do just fine running the interviews. Leo meets Julieta and learns that Edvard can't understand why his soldiers keep losing. Edvard made his soldiers fight against one of the strong monsters Simra. When they lost, Edvard thought it was his responsibility, that he failed to train them, and decided to take his life. Julieta says that Edvard always judges people by his own standards. Leo deduces that because Edvard is a naturally gifted warrior, he can't understand others are not as gifted, so he assumes he just didn't train them hard enough. Julieta reveals that this assumption has gotten worse since he lost to Leo, as he now trains his soldiers to such extremes that they pass out. Julieta, worried about her father's mental state, confided in Leo, and he promised to help Edvard. Meanwhile, Myrns informs Shatina and Lily about Leo's past, revealing that he was created as a living weapon to destroy demons. While they are shocked by the revelation, they still trust Leo for now, especially since he seems genuinely committed to helping their cause. As Leo pondered how to help Edvard, he sees Lily's report about recent discoveries in the mine. Queen Echidna called him with urgent news. Edvard had officially quit the army and refused to return. Leo assured Echidna that he had a plan and would handle the situation. Lily shows Leo the items discovered in the mine, and Leo explains that they are several relics from the age of technology. Machine golems called Phantom Nines are as strong as high-rank demons, and Leo decides to use them to help Edvard. When Edvard announced his retirement to his soldiers, he also declared that his daughter, Julieta, would assume the role of general in his place. Leo then set the Phantom Nine to attack Edvard, but the soldiers jumped into action to protect their former commander, but their attacks are completely useless against it. Leo quickly realized the situation was escalating beyond control. The Phantom's safety restrictions had malfunctioned, and it was attacking with full force. Leo is forced to intervene. Despite the dire circumstances, Edvard stepped in to fight the Phantom Nine, though he had no idea how to defeat it. Leo, alongside Julieta, coached him through the battle, showing him the key to overcoming the Phantom. With their guidance, Edvard managed to defeat the powerful golem. However, the victory was short-lived. Sensing its defeat, the Phantom Nine activated a distress signal, awakening the other dormant Phantom Nines in the area. Realizing the danger, Leo planned to take on the entire squad of golems by himself. But before he could act, Echidna arrived with her forces, destroying the remaining Phantom Nines with ease. In the aftermath of the battle, Edvard thanked Leo for his help, but Leo took the opportunity to scold Edvard. He mimicked the way Edvard often scolded his soldiers, pointing out that Edvard had been doing the same thing, judging others by his own standards without understanding their limitations. This harsh lesson made Edvard realize that he had been training his soldiers all wrong. He apologized to his troops, and in an emotional moment, they forgave him. As Shatina informs Leo about his upcoming promotion as Black Knight Onyx, with Shatina's support, Leo resolves to tell Echidna the truth, not just about who he is but also why he joined her army. Leo reads a book that Echidna is fond of, the Joiner of Hands *, which tells the story of Ibrad, a demon known for advocating peace and coexistence between humans and demons. The book brings back memories for Leo. He had known Ibrad personally, and their encounter back in 2060, during the height of the demon invasion on Earth, had a profound impact on him. Leo recalls that Ibrad was once a low-ranking imp demon. At that time, Leo was ruthlessly eliminating demons as part of his duty. He tracked down Ibrad, expecting to confront an enemy. Ibrad feared for his life and decided to talk to Leo. Ibrad revealed that the demon world is always engaged in wars over resources, and when he heard about the demon lord opened a portal to a new world full of resources without any wars. So along with his companions they came to Earth for a better life, since imp demons always looked down by other high-ranked demons. But misunderstandings between humans and demons started the war, when other high-ranked demons started killing humans. He thought of returning back but was too late, and he realized that it was all planned by the demon lord. Ibrad decides to coexist with humans. Ibrad's desire for peace and his efforts to preach coexistence resonated with Leo. Ibrad spoke to Leo about the future, warning him that once the war was over, Leo's purpose as a weapon of war would disappear, but his immortality would keep him living through the ages, isolated and without purpose. This was the first time Leo had considered the possibility that one day, he might be unneeded and completely alone. Ibrad was eventually imprisoned, but before being taken away, he made Leo promise to find a way to live meaningfully once the war ended. Although Leo never saw Ibrad again, the demon's words stayed with him throughout the centuries. In the present, After centuries of protecting humanity, they no longer wanted him, and for the first time, Leo was free to enjoy life in a way he never imagined. Now fully prepared to confront his past, Leo heads to meet Echidna. Just as Leo is about to reveal the truth to Echidna, an urgent report comes in. The portal to the demon world is collapsing, forcing Echidna and the generals to halt the process temporarily. The group gathers in the war room to discuss the situation. Echidna informs them that they have only 7 days to come up with a solution. Echidna proposes 2 options: either they return to the demon world before the portal closes, or they attack the human capital to obtain the Philosopher's Stone. Everyone leans toward the latter, but Echidna points out that their army is still weakened from their last battle, and even if they launched an attack, they might once again face the hero Leo, whom they were unable to defeat before. Considering the risk, Echidna contemplates disbanding the army and returning to the demon world. While she deliberates, Leo finally takes off his helmet, revealing his true identity. He tells them that the Philosopher's Stone is not a magical artifact that can restore the demon world but a highly advanced engine using a black hole to produce limitless energy. He also reveals that there are actually 2 Philosopher's Stones on Earth, and to avoid another war, Echidna only needs to locate the second one. Echidna turns around in shock, expecting to speak to the Black Knight Onyx, but is stunned to see Leo standing before her. Overcome with confusion and anger at being deceived, she attacks Leo. However, the 4 generals quickly intervene, explaining everything they know about Leo's true identity and his intentions. Echidna, still shaken, eventually calms down. Later, Leo leads Echidna and the generals to the mountains, where the second Philosopher's Stone is located. As they make their way through the snow, Leo explains that the Philosopher's Stones are not magical devices that grant wishes but complex engines requiring a user guide to function. Echidna, now focused on a peaceful solution, proposes making peace with humanity so they can work together to find the guide and activate both engines, one for humanity and one for the demon world. During the journey, Leo and Echidna frequently argue over how to proceed, their bickering gradually transforming into a playful snowball fight, much to the relief of the generals. As they near the location of the second Philosopher's Stone, Echidna asks Leo how he knows so much. Leo reveals that he is far older than anyone realizes, having lived for thousands of years. He explains that he was created as a biological weapon known as a Demonheart, a weapon that adapts and grows stronger over time. His core purpose is to protect humanity, but Leo admits that over the centuries, he has feared that if he ever lost his purpose, he might go insane and spark wars endlessly, just to keep protecting humanity. Finally, they reach the site of the second stone, only to find it unguarded. Standing before it, Leo drops a bombshell. The engines that power the Philosopher's Stones are actually the power sources of the Demonhearts, the living weapons like himself. With this revelation, Leo issues a challenge to Echidna and the 4 generals. If they truly want peace and wish to save the demon world, all they have to do is defeat him in battle, remove his heart, and use it to activate the Philosopher's Stones. However, Leo warns that if they fail, the demon world will remain a wasteland and he will personally destroy humanity, so he can save humanity again. The revelation of Leo's true nature leaves everyone stunned, trying to process the sudden shift. But before they can fully grasp the situation, Leo launches his first powerful attack, forcing them to defend themselves. Despite their pleas for him to stop and reconsider, Leo refuses to listen and his attacks intensify. As he assaults Echidna, Leo declares that war is what gives him purpose. His existence as a living weapon, designed solely to protect humanity, has grown empty without conflict. If humanity no longer needs saving from demons, then he will become the threat they need saving from. Echidna tries to fight him off, but she realizes how much Leo had held back during their previous encounters. Now fully aware of his power, she knows she is not yet fully recovered and stands no chance against him. Edvard is injured while trying to protect Echidna from one of Leo's devastating attacks. In the chaos, Leo admits that he is tired of endlessly protecting humanity. All he wants is to die, but his immortality prevents it. If he cannot die, then he will destroy everything, leaving nothing behind for him to protect. Lily, unarmed, tries to reason with him, offering to help and listen to his struggles, but Leo coldly attacks her regardless. The others, realizing that he is genuinely prepared to kill them, abandon any hope of reasoning and begin to fight back with lethal intent. However, Echidna's most powerful attacks do little to harm him, and Leo mocks them, urging them to come at him with everything they have. Edvard, filled with respect and gratitude for Leo, unleashes his full dragon powers and fights with everything he's got. But even at his strongest, Edvard is easily overpowered. Echidna soon realizes that Leo's hyperreactive skill improvement allows him to adapt, copy, and improve any fighting technique. With thousands of years of experience, Leo has become impervious to all forms of damage and can counter any attack thrown his way. In a desperate move, Echidna and Echidna combine their abilities for a devastating assault, but it still fails to break through Leo's defenses. Mernz attempts to join in, launching a calculated strike, but fails to land a fatal blow. Enraged, he accuses Leo of lying about wanting to die or destroy the world, pointing out that Leo's actions have always been about trying to help others and create peace, even in his madness. In response, Leo freezes Mernz in solid ice. Lily, unwillingly, transforms into her powerful Fenrir form, hoping her raw strength might slow him down. But she too is defeated quickly. Believing she knows Leo's true motivations, Echidna asks Echidna to buy her some time and decides to use an ultimate spell she inherited from her father Cycrius. Her father told her that it's a spell specifically designed to defeat a hero by disabling all their abilities for a single moment, but nobody ever able to use it. Echidna distracts Leo for long enough by attacking him but is defeated right before Leo is hit by the spell titled Hero Binding, Anti-Leo. Right before the spell hits, Leo thanks Echidna. Leo sees his entire life flash before his eyes. From the time of his creation, at first everything was going fine. In the beginning, Leo's purpose was clear: save humanity. But as time wore on, and the wars continued, he developed a deep disdain for peace. When there was no enemy to fight, he sought conflict, joining wars between human nations simply to fulfill his need to protect humanity from danger, even if it meant perpetuating violence. As he grew more self-aware, he saw how warped his purpose had become. The peace he had once fought for was now something he actively dreaded. Then, Leo's thoughts darkened even further. He began crafting plans for a new series of demon hearts, like himself but designed to destroy humanity rather than protect it. But when the demon world invaded, he destroyed his unfinished creations as he realized he had gone insane. To protect humanity, he had to die, but he also had to leave his Philosopher's Stone heart to someone worthy of it. He offers to help defend humanities against the demon army. That was when he first met Echidna, but when he saw her, something changed. Leo realized that Echidna was the one he had been searching for all along. He started gathering information about her and observing her. He then finally left on his journey. So he first defeated her 4 generals one by one and finally defeated Echidna. He then joined her army to learn more about her, and now has chosen her to assist him with committing suicide. Leo is trapped in Echidna's spells, unable to use any of his skills, and Echidna is still having a hard time holding him still, even if still for a short time. Echidna, seeing the look in his eyes, feels the weight of his centuries-long struggle. In that moment, she realizes that Leo has been alone for so long, carrying the burden of protecting humanity with no one to share it with. He had wanted someone to save him, but no one ever did. Not until now. Deciding to give him a death worthy of a hero, Echidna keeps him powerless, allowing the 4 generals attack and to finally kill him. As Leo lies weakened, his body barely holding together, Echidna approaches him and accuses him of letting them win on purpose, as he never intended to defeat them. Leo, breathing heavily, tells them that he disables his internal security, giving them 300 seconds to remove his Philosopher's Stone. Echidna asks if he has any regrets. Leo, gazing at her with a tired but soft expression, simply says, "No. Everything in the demon army is going well. If anything, I apologize for the trouble I've caused all of you." At that moment, Lily starts crying and asks everyone to not kill Leo. Echidna steps forward and almost removes the stone, only to suddenly change her mind and announce Leo has passed his probation and is hired as her ambassador to the human world in charge of peace between demons and humans. Leo blinks in confusion and asks Edvard to remove the stone, but Edvard refuses, saying that he has yet to learn loot from him, and agrees with Echidna. He also says that his daughter likes Leo and he does not want to make her sad. Crying, Lily asks why he really wants to die when he can talk to her and solve the problem together. As time runs fast, Leo thinks Murns will do the job because he always thinks logically, but Murns starts hinting at him instead, saying he only wanted to fight Leo, and why would he kill someone who really wants to live? Finally, it's Shatina's turn and Leo begs to die, so Shatina demands to know his real motive. He admits by even contemplating destroying humanity, he has dangerously evolved beyond the orders his creators programmed him with. By that logic, Shatina tells him to evolve the ability to ignore the programming. Doubtful, Leo attempts to do so and is successful in deleting the order to protect humanity that has driven him mad for 3,000 years. As time runs out, Echidna offers her hand to Leo and Leo seals the stone inside him forever, and he happily agrees to Echidna's request. With the battle behind them, everyone returns to the demon castle. Leo observes the camaraderie within the army and smiles, content. As they celebrate, drinking in victory, he notes that everyone except for Echidna is getting drunk. Echidna later asks if he regrets losing what might have been his one chance to die and would not get other centuries. He denies it since he already made his choice and doesn't regret it. He is happy to be helping Echidna from the beginning to make her dream come true. Echidna calls herself a villain who invades others for her gain and asks him if it's really fine for him to help her, but Leo says that she is no villain as she only wants to help her people and even help those who are invaded. He will help her, so she never has to play a villain again. Just as their conversation grows deeper, Julieta bursts into the room, misreading the situation, which Echidna violently, yet embarrassingly, denies. Julieta reveals while they were gone, a mountain of work has piled up requiring their attention. As more people come to report their duties, Echidna wakes up everyone, dragging them out of their drunken stupor to return to work. In the end, Leo begins working and he is glad that he was finally able to quit heroing.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this. If you have any suggestions or questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Until next time, take care.